Hello and welcome to the Daily Grind here on Latte Firm. It is Tuesday, the 5th of August, and we've had a whirlwind of a 48 hours just eulogizing about our new third kit. But we've got football to talk about tonight, and the season is just upon us. So I am delighted to be joined by good friend, former Arsenal player and broadcaster, Adrian Clark. Adrian, welcome to the firm. How are you?
Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks for the invite. Much appreciated. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be in. Good to be on the show. Love that little sort of intro music as well. Very nice. Love
Thank
it.
you very much for that. I really appreciate that. And listen, I've been tuning into all of your shows. You have a YouTube channel. Tell the world, where can we find you and what's it all about?
Yeah, I'm trying to be down with the kids, aren't I? Yeah.
You and I
No,
both.
people have been saying to me for ages, like, you should do it. You should do it. And I've never found the time, but I thought this summer got a bit of downtime. I'll just launch it. We'll see how it goes. And I just thought, it might be a slow burner. We'll get a few hundred people at the start and whatnot. But I've been blown away. Like, incredible reaction to it, overwhelmingly positive. And yeah, look, it's quite basic at the moment. I'll look to maybe polish it up a little bit as time goes on. But yeah, it's just me analysing games, talking about what the team needs, what we're good at, etc. So yeah, just try and keep the videos punchy. About 15 minutes ago, and just 5 videos in, but yeah, loads of subscribers already, which is amazing. And yeah, I'm finding it fun, and it's really nice to get such positive feedback. It gives me encouragement to keep it going and to make it even better.
Well, you're a natural. I got to say, we were talking before we came on air. I've been enjoying all of your content. You've got a really great talking style. You've obviously done lots of broadcasting in your time. You work with Arsenal on a match day. Just really, really sort of delighted for you. And I hope the channel grows. And if anybody's unfamiliar, do check out Adrian on socials at Adrian J. Clark. And of course, you can find his YouTube, which I will link in the video description. Many of you have noticed that I was on the Cannon podcast just a short time ago. Clairvoyant, welcome to the show, says, watching you currently on the Cannon podcast. Well, here I am on Latte Firm. So tonight, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Yeah, I know, exactly. Tonight, ladies and gents, boys and girls, we're going to talk about our new kit because it is arrived. I'm not actually moved by it, but I want to get your thoughts on it, Adrian. Then we'll talk football. What a summer it's been for Arsenal. Andrea Berta's first summer. He's still within his probation period, but he's managed to make some signings. Want to get your thoughts on the incomings, get your thoughts on potential contract renewals to come, contract renewals that have been done, and maybe 1 or 2 outgoings. And news is beginning to sort of gather some pace. And then towards the end of the show, we'll look ahead to the new season, Adrian, because we're just days away. There's a lot of pressure on Mikel Arteta, a lot of pressure on Arsenal to deliver something big this season. And I want to get, your sort of first or initial expectations of what success could look like for next season. So buckle in. And those of you in the chat, keep the chat active. And if you're tuning in for the first time, please do drop a like on the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So first up, our new kit released yesterday. What did you make of it, Adrian? Are you a fan of the white and maroon?
Not really. I'm more of a I'm more of a yellow and blue kind of old-fashioned guy, I suppose, in terms of wanting that to be part of Arsenal's 3 kits somewhere along the road. What I will say is that it's beautifully designed. The embroidery, the detail on it is fantastic, and it's any nod to Highbury and the old days is good with me. I just don't know about Arsenal in white. That's one issue. But what I would say from a positive point of view, aside from the sort of detail on the kit, which is beautiful, I think I could see myself wearing it, or I could see a lot of people wearing it with a pair of jeans or whatever. I could see it being worn casually, very nicely. It looks like a polo shirt, really, doesn't it?
It does.
More than a football kit in a lot of ways. But yeah, look, I'm a sort of, I guess I'm a 7 out of 10. I love the home kit. I really like that. It's about a 9. I'm a big fan of the blue. This year's blue. That's an 8.5. For me, this is more like a 7.
Yeah, listen, I've got to say, I'm not as moved as many on socials. Like I like it. I think the boys look absolutely sterling in it.
Oh yeah,
and we're gonna make it look absolutely sensational. The collar, I do like collars on shirts, not gonna lie, but I don't like the sort of yellowy goldy sort of trim. But I'm a big fan of the away shirt, big fan of the home shirt, and yeah, just something about white kits that just link too much to the old enemy up the road. But let's not talk about that. Let's move on to the football. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of the new kit. Let's talk about the window so far, Adrian. I mean, we've had so many guests on over the summer talking about these moves as and when they've happened. But let's get your collective thoughts. So going into the summer, especially after what was quite a disappointing season in the end. There's been a lot of pressure on the club to be active, and with Andrea Berta, our new sporting director, barely 6 months into his role, this was going to be a bit of a litmus test for him, his first summer of activity. We'll talk about the contract renewal shortly, but the incomings, in that order: Victor Gyökeres, Christian Mosquera, Kepa, Zubimendi, Norgard, and of course Noni Madueke. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, he's been a busy man, hasn't he, Andrea Berta? Look, it was an important summer. He needed to sort of make a good first impression, and I think he has. There's no doubt about that. Look, let's go with the big one, I suppose. Victor Gyökeres. I think he played it pretty well. He was actually playing them off against one another a little bit, wasn't he, Andrea Berta, with Gyökeres and Sesko? But for me, it boiled down to two things. One, which player wanted to come the most, and I think that Berta would have been pretty clear on who that was from the outset. And then you're looking at their capabilities and how they fit the team. And Sesko, for me, is maybe one for the future, one that's going to grow and improve and could be an exceptional centre forward. Gyökeres is the guy for now, and I don't think Mikel Arteta is interested in 2, 3, 4 years time anymore. It has to be about now. And Gyökeres, I think, is more likely to score more goals than Sesko in the Premier League. That's my honest opinion. I love his work rate. I love the movement. He's relentless with his running, and that's going to stretch teams, and it's going to pull defenders out of position. And either we're going to slip him in, or he's going to pull a defender out of position, and somebody else will run into that space. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it fares with him.
And most importantly, Adrian, sorry to just interrupt there, but he's very different to Kai Havertz. Like, you can buy strikers, but the fact that he's different, he wants to run in behind, he wants to play on the shoulder, he's powerful, he's fast. Like, these are traits that we're craving for. Sorry, you were just about to say Noni Madueke. I'm really intrigued.
But on that, we needed more dynamism, more explosiveness, in my opinion, in forward areas. We didn't have anyone last year with Havertz and Marino to make those darting runs in beyond, and that made us easier to defend against, and that's why teams back themselves to sit off and just cope with us. With Gyökeres, there'll be a little bit of fear there, because he can run you. He can really give defenders a headache. Look, Gabriel and Saliba had a tough game against him, didn't they, last year, Faisal? That wasn't easy. So the moment I saw him against us that night, when we played brilliantly, by the way, but when I saw him in that game, I was like, yeah, I like the look. Yeah, I'd seen him at Coventry before, but I like the look of what he brings. So happy with that. Once he gets fit and sharp, he'll be good. Noni Madueke was the surprise of the summer. I've been critical of him actually on other shows before, when on the Athletic, when they've asked me about him with England, and a lot of tricks, but not always the end product to go with it. And so I was surprised, but he does bring an element of chaos, and I talk a lot about chaos and what we need more of it. He was the 5th most prolific dribbler in the Premier League last season. He's a very, very good dribbler, and he can play both sides. He'll take players on for fun. He'll be brilliant on the counter-attack. And he's the best, absolutely the best standard cover we could have ever got for Bukayo Saka. Because it's like Harry Kane at Spurs. No one ever wanted to be his understudy, so they never signed one. We haven't been able to sign one for Saka. And if he is the understudy, that's a high-level play. He's a full England international. And he can play on the left. So, yeah.
Do you think he will play on the left, Adrian? As in, I know he's capable of doing it, but do you think this is Arteta's grand plan? Because I can't imagine that there is, Arsenal being the club that we are, we're spending £50 million plus on someone just to be an understudy.
Yeah. I mean, but that investment is also an investment in Saka, because you're protecting him and you're giving him those breathers, and you're prolonging maybe his best period. So it's more than just the player for me. But yeah, he will definitely get games on the left. For me, he's looked better on the right, but he could do it. And when there's a time in the game where we really want two wing flyers and to really get at a full back, then he could be the guy, either from the start or off the bench. So yeah, look, I can buy into it. It was a lot of money, but let's get behind him and support him. He is an exciting player to watch. So there's no doubt about that. I just hope that he can start to deliver the goals and the assists that his talent sort of promises, really. So yeah, that there was the sort of big obvious one, the surprise, and then the rest I think all make perfect sense, really. Yeah, I mean, if Zubimendi, I'm a huge fan of. I think he's going to play a really an unsung role maybe in helping our forward players shine. He will just give the ball to them a bit quicker than the guys that were there last year, and that makes a heck of a difference. He'd get around the pitch a bit faster as well than the guys we had last year. Norgaard's perfect sort of understudy, good leader, good, Premier League proven. Kepa, what a bargain! I mean, you aren't going to get a better number 2 goalkeeper than that. For 5 million, amazing. And look, Mosquera comes with a good reputation, doesn't he? And we did need, obviously, with Tomiyasu going, we needed someone that could step in and cover seamlessly for William Saliba. So yeah, great window so far. Just want one more, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
We will get to that. And listen, we've not even talked about young Max Dowman, who of course looks very capable. But what I love about this window, Adrian, 2 things. We needed to fill some really important roles in the squad. So you talk about that backup goalkeeper, and hopefully we don't have to mess about with a goalkeeper signing now for the next sort of 2-3 years at least. Norgaard comes in, raises the floor, replaces Jorginho, El Neni, that sort of mold for me. Zubimendi, like you say, is going to be the main man. And we've already seen, you've talked about it on your channel about how we're looking to move the ball faster, quicker up the pitch. We've got to do that. Got to play in transition. Got to be better. Victor Gyökeres is going to help with that, and Oni Madueke is going to help with that. And we've got a different profile of player, like you talked about. Like, for the longest time, we'll talk about the horseshoe in just a second, but for the longest time, it becomes, when you play Arsenal, it becomes a game of like attack versus defense. And it's just like, wait. But you need different profiles. You need people to shoot on sight. You need people to make that movement so you can make the pass. And I'm really excited, but we're not done yet. Last couple of things before we start talking about the missing piece of the jigsaw and your thoughts on the season. Contract renewals. I mean, Andrea Berta's come in. He's landed these guys. Obviously, Zubimendi was something that Edu had started in all fairness to him. But Gabriel Magalhaes, Ethan Nwaneri, not official yet, but of course the news is broken. Miles Lewis-Skelly, and potentially Saliba and Saka soon. I mean, these are just as important as signings, and to get 3 out of the 5 done, really impressive so far.
Yeah, I don't know how he fits it all in. Really, you must always be on the phone to agents and other clubs and stuff. It's a relentless job, but a fun one, because he you talk about in product with footballers, don't you? He's delivering it in product, isn't he, Andrea Berta? It's not just him; he'll have a team around him. But yeah, it's hard to pick too many flaws in what he's done so far. So yeah, fair play. The renewals are important because it shows faith, that the players have faith in the manager, that they have faith in the team, that they're going to deliver the trophies. Because the thing about players, you got a really short window of a career, and they're all brilliant players, so they know that they'll all be coveted by other clubs, so that they'll all have options, but they want to be here because they believe in what we're doing. And I hope this doesn't happen, but if 1 or 2 of these guys don't renew, then that's when doubts might creep in, and where people inside, you might start to think, well, is the dressing room questioning the project? And we haven't had any inclination that any player is unhappy or looking to move on, and that's a great reflection, isn't it, on the manager and the club at the moment, and what they feel they can achieve. I feel it. I'm sure you do as well. Watching it, I do feel that this team can do it. But now is the time, isn't it? It's not about 3 or 4 years anymore. It has to be now.
It is. You're absolutely right, and that kind of is why I wanted to talk to you about the missing piece and what your expectations are this season. I think just on the couple outstanding, I mean, Bukayo Saka is massive. He is the golden child, reaching his golden years. We've got to tie him down. A little bit nervous about whether he's fully recovered and if he's going to get back to his sort of explosive best, hopefully he will. He's in the best care. And Saliba is just a monster of a centre back. So look, got to get them both done. Let's just talk about potential departures. News over the last couple of days. First, Jakub Kivior. Second, Fabio Vieira. And anyone else that you think might or should leave the Arsenal squad this summer, Adrian?
Well, I'd be reluctant to lose Kivior. I've got to say, I think that he came in and did really, really well last season. Obviously, we've got Calafiori who can cover Gabriel and Lewis Skelly. So, but his fitness record hasn't been great, has it, since he came? So that would be a reluctant sale for me. I would only sanction that if Kivior himself was desperate to go, because you don't want to carry players that don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yeah.
Fabio Vieira definitely has to go. Not every transfer works. Not every gamble on a brilliant young talent pays off. It doesn't mean he's a bad player. I just don't think he was ready to play for the Arsenal to be a main player for us. And I think we probably do need to move him on. I think that probably Reece Nelson probably will fall into that category as well. Even though I'm a big fan of Reece, and he played great on the tour in a couple of the cameos that he had. I think for his career, he needs to be a first choice player now in the Premier League, and that's not going to happen here. So that will hopefully bring in some money, and then you're looking at your Trossards or Zinchenko's. Obviously, Sambi Lokonga probably has to be sold as well, and then it's Zinchenko, Trossard, isn't it? I don't think you'd be looking to cash in on Martinelli. The only way I would cash in on Martinelli is if that is what it took to get over the line to get a Rodrigo or an Eze. If we needed to do that, then sometimes you have to let a good one go, and he would generate a lot of money, obviously. But I think the preference would be to maybe let Trossard or Zinchenko or both move on, because they're getting a little bit older and possibly less effective. So interesting times. Arsenal do need to be better at selling. I think we all recognise that.
I mean, I was just about to ask you, Adrian, and obviously I don't expect any sort of inside sort of info because obviously you've got an association with the club, but just Arsenal fan to Arsenal fan. Why do we think it's so difficult for Arsenal to sell? And I'll just to kind of paint the picture, I'll go first and offer you a suggestion, which is, we're obviously a big club. We're London based and people like the lifestyle. You will know much better than anyone watching tonight that Arsenal look after their people. And
no one wants to leave. You don't want to leave Arsenal.
Right. So the incentive is not really for the player to leave. And of course, being Arsenal, being the size that we are, we pay our players well, both academy players or those that have graduated from the academy. We know Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, the likes, the sorts of salaries that they were on. And, the stars that come in, the Sinchenkos, the Jesuses, the Havertzes, we've all read in the media how much they're paid. So, why is it that we struggle? Is it literally that they love the London lifestyle? They love playing for Arsenal. They're really well sort of rewarded. Because it has been really sort of abysmal, hasn't it, over the last few years, our player sales, with the exception of one or two every now and again.
Yeah. I think wages is a big factor, isn't it? Because if you're going to go down, and most players, if we were looking to sell a player, it's going to be down. Then they may not be able to afford the money that the guys are on, and if they're under contract for another 2 or 3 years, then there's maybe a negotiation to be had because they don't want to sacrifice that money. And like you say, they love playing for Arsenal. They love being in London. So I do think that they're genuine factors. I think sometimes as well, we did a good job, I think, with Joe Willock. We kind of sold him while he was hot after a loan spell. I think Arsenal can maybe be a little bit better at that with a player that maybe they don't see a long-term pathway for, who's in vogue, doing very well, whether on loan or even for Arsenal in patches. Maybe that's when you cash in when they're at their hottest. We sort of tend to let things drift, and there's so many loans year after year, players being loaned to this club, to that club, to this club, and the momentum goes, doesn't it? It is frustrating, but it's the price you pay for paying good wages, really.
Yeah, I think so. There's a super chat and a question from Assad, which I'll come to in just a second. But Viggs just sort of says, we always keep players way beyond their highest sale value point. Need to learn from Chelsea. If we're ruthless enough like them, we would have sold them by now. Chelsea are also a London-based club. Let's not talk too much
Well, it
about
was kind
Chelsea,
of
but
what I
there are
was just
lessons to be
saying.
learned. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just what I'm saying. Like, just when a player's at their highest value, just trying to think. I mean, Reece Nelson. There wasn't really. He was flying actually for a little bit, but then he got injured. So that wasn't Arsenal's fault. Fabio Vieira hasn't really hit the heights on loan at Porto, I don't think. So, he's probably gradually sort of the value has plummeted a little bit. But Joe Willock's a very good example of what we did well. We sold him while he was hot, and because we didn't see that he was going to be a long-term starter. And I think if there are players that Mikel doesn't see as long-term starters, I do think, he needs to try and move them on if he can.
Indeed. Let's move on to the missing piece. So we've had a really good window, and I was, we were chatting on WhatsApp about, what would it take? What's going to move the needle if we could sign one more player to make it the real sort of ideal, as close to 10 out of 10 as possible when you consider the other incomings and the contract renewals and potential sort of outgoings. Before you sort of reveal the name, obviously there's been talks about Rodrigo and Leao as sort of orthodox out and out wingers. There's been talks about inside sort of players like Eze. Why the profile of player that you've chosen that would complete the window for you?
Well, there are a number of reasons why I would prefer a certain player. But the out and out wingers are brilliant, but the issue with Rodrigo is that he just doesn't seem a strong inclination to leave Real Madrid. And it's like with Arsenal. People don't want to leave Real Madrid. And I understand that. So that could be protracted and difficult. And I just don't think that's going to suit us. Leao, he's a good player. Quick, direct. We saw it on the game on tour. He's a threat. But in product-wise, is he going to score that many more goals than a Martinelli? Is he going to create that many more goals than a Martinelli? I'm not convinced, if truth be told. So yeah, I would go for Eberechi Eze. I just love the player. I just absolutely love watching him. He is so silky. He's such a threat. With and without the ball, by the way. I sort of analysed a lot. Well, I looked at a lot of the goals that he made and scored last year, and a lot of them come from runs. He's a powerful runner in behind, but it's really when he gets the ball in those inside half space pockets, beats a player and goes. His choice of pass, his weight of pass, the quality of his shots from outside the box are just, outstanding. And I feel that he is the line breaker that the team needs. I do, because funneling the ball wide and going wide as a matter of course hasn't really worked. If you think back to that amazing 22-23 season when Jesus led the line, that wasn't really what we did. We were fluent because he caused chaos up front. His movement was really unpredictable. There was a lot of varied movement. And we created overloads here, there, and everywhere. We just had players popping up here, there, and everywhere. And since then, we've gradually got a little bit more formulaic, which I understand when you've got like a centre forward like in the Kai Havertz mould, who's kind of stays in that position a little bit more. So we've got into this habit. And if you look at this graphic here, if you imagine the area from the D sort of into the middle of the central portion of the pitch. So yeah, that area there where you've got the cursor there. Often the heat map, the touch map of Arsenal players is fairly empty in that zone because we funnel everything wide. And for me, that is the key zone. That is the zone where you want to get touches. But it's the zone where opposition teams have been able to negate us. So with an Eze coming in off the side, sporadically, unpredictably, just to cause defenders to make decisions. Who goes with him? Is it the fullback? Is it the centre half? Does the midfielder have to drop in? All these decisions have to be made instantly. I think he's bright enough and he's good enough and he's intelligent enough in a football sense to know when to come in off the left and to make a difference. And I just can see those patterns of play where we funnel it wide to White and Saka, and then it comes back to Odegaard. And I could just see those little runs from Reze to come infield, 25, 30 yards out centrally, Odegaard or Saka fizzing one into him, bang. Then what's he going to do? Is he going to slip in Gyökeres, or could he have a shot from outside the box? Because no player, and I talked about this on my channel, no player in the Premier League averaged more shots from outside the box last season than Eze.
Yep.
2 shots per game from outside the box. He scored, I think, with three shots from distance, one of which was against us. And Arsenal ranked 14th in the Premier League last season for shots from outside the box, which is nuts when you think how much of the ball we had, especially inside the final third. Shoot, we've been urging players to shoot, but Eze is a player you'd really want him to shoot because he's got such a good technique. So, I just think we've got a Martinelli that can run up and down the line and stretch teams in that capacity. If the alternative was an Eze who can come in field and slip those through balls into Gyökeres, or to have a crack from distance, or to just draw a defender towards him to create space for someone else, I just think he's the guy that could break this horseshoe pattern that the team have sort of habitually fallen into, really. You need players that are going to pop up within the horseshoe in unusual angles, because then it draws a defender out. They have to react, and once that happens, there's a chain reaction. If one defender has to move, so does another, and that's where you can find space and stuff. So, I think Eze and Odegaard and Saka behind Gyökeres would be tremendously exciting.
I'm all in. I'm all in, Adrian. If anybody wants a deeper dive as to why Eberechi Eze might be the suitable player for Arsenal, do check out Adrian's most recent video. And listen, there's an unwritten story as well with the links to Hale End, an unfinished story for him. So to bring him home would be fantastic.
And he seems like a good pro. He's not kicking up a fuss. The issue is we don't have a rampaging left back, and that would imbalance the team a little bit. But a lot of teams play with a slightly lopsided system, and it can work fine. What I would say is having the 2 guys on the touchline, hugging it, putting the balls into the box, it hasn't borne fruit enough, has it? Really?
No.
We haven't got on the end of enough crosses. And in truth, Gyökeres isn't as good at attacking crosses as Havertz. So really, I think Gyökeres wants service slid down the sides of defenders. He doesn't. I mean, there's always a place for getting to the byline, cutting it back, and a striker finishing it. Of course, there is, but he would thrive, I think, on a more central attacking game plan, more counterattacks. I think we want to see this season, because we're actually brilliant at them. We will go a bit more direct as well. So it's about catching teams off guard before they get set, and I think that you'll see a slight shift in style with us going a touch more direct and a little bit more counter-attacking focused when we can.
Can't wait for it. Last question on Eze before we turn our attention to the season ahead. Assad, thank you so much for your very generous donation to the channel. Really appreciate your support. And of course, our Patreon members watching and channel members. He says, Arsenal are moving like Klarna FC when it comes to Eze, i.e. moving very slow. Adrian, what is your gut feeling on sales, which we've talked about, to be fair? But, you say you like Eze. I'm not suggesting that you're well connected and whatnot. But
no.
What's your hunch? Do you think we can get this done?
I think we can, because I think the player wants it. That from what I gather, he really fancies it. But he's a great pro. He's got a good affection for Palace, so he's not going to kick up a fuss. I think it's going to come down to Arsenal. What kind of package can they offer Crystal Palace? Can we throw in a player? Can we, just stump up the money that they want? Steve Parish isn't an easy guy to negotiate with. Clubs have been trying to pick Mark Gurhey off them for years, haven't they? And they haven't. So, and that's for a reason, because they drive a hard bargain. I think what we need to do probably is line up a sale, whether it's possibly a Trossard or a Nelson or Vieira, just so that we guarantee that money in the bank, and then we can go and pay a little bit extra to get Eze. My gut feeling says we'll do it, but nothing's guaranteed, is it? It all boils down to whether the club can can stump up the money that Palace will demand.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? I am the opposite of an in the know. I'm afraid I kind of keep well out of it. I just get involved normally when they sign, but with Eze, I just can't resist it because
You want it. I know.
Yeah, I really want it.
You
I
opened your
love
video.
the player.
You opened your video yesterday by saying, "I couldn't help myself. I want this to happen." So here I am. Rancid Pumpkin says, Eze solves so many problems. He gives us something different on the left, creativity in general, and competition for Erdegaard, which is also very important. He'd be the biggest signing since Declan Rice.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move away from Ebrechi, Eze. We can all hope, fantasize about how that story might be written.
We got the 10 shirt free as well, Faisal. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Don't. I want to talk penultimate topic. The pressure on, I should say, sort of Arsenal and Berta. But listen, the manager will have ultimate accountability. 6 full seasons now. We have an FA Cup to show for it, and a couple of really sort of memorable years in going toe to toe with Manchester City. Last season, killed by injury and disappointing in the domestic cups, and obviously could have had the fairy tale ending with the Champions League, but it wasn't meant to be. There is immense pressure on Mikel Arteta to deliver, Adrian. What are your thoughts on the noise that we hear about it's boom or bust for Mikel this year? I mean, would you go that far?
I wouldn't, because I still think the team is heading in the right direction. If I thought obviously there was a regression, but there were definitely extenuating circumstances. With those injuries and suspensions, there's a lot of bad luck last season from an Arsenal perspective. So we didn't get the players in that maybe he wanted us to get in as well at the time, and we were short. And I think actually most teams that would have lost so many key players at once wouldn't have finished second in the league. That's genuinely my thought process on it. The cups were disappointing, but we had tough draws, and those ties came at a time where we were really stretched, and we were suffering with those injuries. So again, but the Champions League, we were awesome in it. Absolutely stellar campaign, and the way we played against PSG in the semi-final, I think people should remember that and think, when they're talking about, is time up for Arteta? Think about that game, especially that first half where we took the game to PSG and completely outplayed them. The best team in the world. I know they didn't win the World Club Cup or whatever it is, but they are the best team in the world. And we outplayed them and could have scored 4 or 5 goals, playing great football. Arsenal pre-Arteta wouldn't have been able to arrange a game with PSG, let alone take the game to them. We weren't on that left. So the progress shouldn't be forgotten, but the pressure is on. There's no doubt, because the team needs it. He needs it. The club needs validation for the work that's been done, and that validation comes in the form of trophies, doesn't it? So yeah, huge campaign. And of course, if we don't get a trophy this season, then you do wonder, when it comes to renewals, whether they'll become tougher, because players will be thinking, is it not going to happen? Maybe I need to move on. So yeah, it's a hugely important year. I just hope he stays calm and makes the tweaks that we as supporters can see the team needs, really. I'm sure he will. He's a very thorough guy, isn't he? Passionate. Yeah. I mean, there's no one more driven to succeed than Mikel Arteta. But because of that drive, sorry, just one more thing. Because of his nature, of his personality and that driven nature, there probably is a shelf life in terms of how long players will respond positively to it, because he expects so much of them. If it just doesn't happen, then 1 or 2 might start to waver. That's my fear. But personally, I'm super confident that we will get at least 1 trophy. I'm saying we're going to get 2. I think it's going to be the old London bus syndrome this year. I think we can get a couple. I think we can win the league, and I think we can win a cup as well.
Well, let's talk about the positives. I mean, all I was going to say, I am firmly behind the gaffer. I understand the noise, and I know that trophies are the biggest currency in the game, and there is immense pressure. I think a couple of people have said in the chat that he's probably the most under pressure manager. But listen, I love how he represents us. I love that he feels every ball, every pass, every win. You can see how bitter he is in every defeat, because it hurts him. And he's one of us. And I love the fact that he's one of our own. He's played for us, but he's got to deliver. And I'm hoping it's going to be positive this season. So you talked about 2 trophies. Do you think, based on what the other clubs have done in the window
Mm.
and the noises that are coming out of Liverpool with potentially Alex Isak, have we done enough, Adrian? Has Arteta got enough in the bank to go on and win the league?
Yeah. I mean, we lost the league by 10 points last year. I could probably add up 9 points from silly red cards and but terrible decisions that didn't go our way. That's not even counting injuries. Liverpool, what did they win it with? 84 points. We can get 90. I know that we can get 90. We've got to 89. But we do need to just tweak the style. There's no doubt about that. We've become a little bit too predictable to play against. So there needs to be changes. But for me, the transfer market tells me that Arteta absolutely recognises that as well, because he's bringing in players that are runners, players that will stretch teams, players that are a bit more unpredictable, and players that will pop up in different positions. So, yeah, I think he knows what needs to be done. I do. And yeah, for as long as he's got the dressing room behind him, then he, he'll have all of our support, in my opinion. Yeah, I just think he's a tremendous manager. So yeah, look, we can win the league. There's no doubt about it. Can't control what Liverpool do. Can't control what City do. Not Chelsea are getting better, but I think we'll be ahead of them. Yeah, look, it's not easy to finish against City above City with the depth that they have, with Haaland up front and others. Liverpool have just got Wirtz, obviously, and they want Isak. They've got Ekitike. They're going to be tough, but they don't have great depth in a number of their positions. Centre back in particular, central midfield. Outside of Gravenberch and McAllister, it's not that much. All it takes is cluster injuries like we had for them to potentially drop unexpected points. I just think this summer for us was about two things. It was about beefing up the squad, protecting us from those inevitable injuries, and I think we're doing a brilliant job of beefing up the squad with quality. And it was about changing the tactics a little bit and introducing a more direct style, a more athletic style, a style built around running as much as it is that intricate play. And I think that's what the manager's trying to do. So we just got to see it unfold now, haven't we? And hopefully that's what will happen.
We do. I hope so. I'm really excited about the new season. Looking forward to getting back to the carpet tomorrow and we go again.
Yes.
And
yeah.
A new season brings new romance, new optimism, new hope. I hope we get off to a really good start. But listen, that's been tremendous fun, Adrian. I mean, just listening to you talk about needs for the team and your views on the window, it's nice to get a fresh sort of reflection, because I've been covering the club now for via the channel for over 3 years, and we've been doing this daily sort of show over the summer. And the excitement as one transfer comes through and then another one comes through, and looking at it collectively and starting to think about the season, it's massively exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So
looking forward to tomorrow.
Any closing thoughts? Yeah, tomorrow. Any thoughts?
It's big week.
It's a friendly, but it's important, right?
Well, the results don't really matter, but you want to see performances, don't you? I think what you'll see is a bit more sharpness. The players were obviously training super hard over there in humid conditions, and then playing in those difficult conditions as well. They looked a bit lethargic, I think, in that last game. I think we'll see a lot more freshness. And hopefully, sharpness and fitness from the boys this week. And look, it doesn't really matter, but we want to see some goals. We want to see some exciting play. We want to see Saka back to his best. We want to see a bit of Dowman in the flesh. We want to see Gyökeres score his first goal. Madueke get off to a positive start. There's loads of things to enthuse about. I'm on that tomorrow. I think there's a live from M5 show on the Arsenal app and
looking forward to it.
I'm not on commentary tomorrow, fun enough. I normally do commentary.
Are you doing the hosting?
I'm doing pitch side with Timsy, I think. Before the game.
I love Timsy. Yeah, he's
Timsy's
been on
a good
the
lad,
channel.
isn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
We'll be pitch side before the game, and then at half time and at full time as well. So it'd be nice. I do like being down there. It's very exciting.
It is very cool. When you're a pro, I love watching it. The challenge has been set to you by Taylor. Please get Adrian to sneak in the word latte into the commentary. I'll be looking out for that, Adrian. And you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Rancid says, so glad Mr. Clark started his own YouTube channel. Do check over the channel, and it's been really good fun. We're going to leave it there. There are just shy of 700 of you watching live on YouTube right now. If you've enjoyed this content, watched it for the first time, please do subscribe to the channel. Get involved in liking the video as well. It's a massive help in raising the profile. And if you're a Patreon member or a YouTube channel member, I am so grateful for your support. It's been a fantastic few weeks. Just thinking about new schedule now for the new season. I'll share details in due course. We'll be back tomorrow with a match reaction video tomorrow night. That'll be me taking your questions and your chat. And then on Thursday, Sammy Mockbell is back on the firm and he will talk about potential links, potential outgoings. So stay tuned. Are you not entertained? Adrian is available on X at Adrian J. Clark. Adrian's channel is also on YouTube, which I will share in the description. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the friendly tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow after the game. Take care and bye for now.